Hi, good morning. I'm going to show you more on the Kapp style covering, on how to sew that. And I do apologize, I noticed that when I reviewed the overview video, you didn't get to see this as well as what I would have liked. The camera wasn't aimed as well. It's kind of hard when you're using a tripod and you can't see yourself. But hopefully you can see better now. I went ahead and pre-aimed the camera. And let's see. There's a couple steps we can do here first. Let me think. This is what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and sew these ties up. What these are is they are basically have been done like with a bias tape maker. Just a little, $5 piece of equipment that you can buy, a little notion. Very handy. I don't actually cut these on the bias because I don't want the stretch, but it helps with ironing them, and you get the little folded piece just like a double fold bias, and all you do is from there you fold it in half and sew it up. It's a little easier than making tubes and turning tubes. And I put on my Bernina, my number 5 foot, my blind hemmer foot, and the reason why I use that is it's an excellent top stitch foot. The actual top stitch foot is almost the same thing, but it makes guiding these through a lot easier. So you go ahead and you get that lined up, make sure it's just right off the edge. You put your needle over in the left position, and if you don't have these features, this foot and the ability to move your needle, you can still run this through a regular machine. You just got to go a little more slower and a little more careful. But don't think that you have to have this to be able to make this covering. I mean, if you really wanted, you can make these coverings by hand. Did not catch there. Okay. The fold wasn't quite as even as it should have been, so let me pop that back on there real quick. Catch that end. It's not really going to hurt anything because that's going to be up inside the brim part anyway, but I still just wanted it to be a nice little firm base. Let's do the other one. And I may go ahead and break the video after that. With string there, I don't want that goofing up my stitching. Now generally when you start and stop your stitching, you should always reverse. With these, sometimes I just do it by habit and sometimes I don't. You're going to be finishing off your end, so it really doesn't matter so much whether you be sure to lock that stitch. But sometimes you find you do it out of habit because you do it so much on everything else too. Very last piece is going to be cut off anyway. Okay. The next thing I like to do do is I go ahead and change my foot to the basic standard normal foot for this. And then I need to make 2 finished ends on these ties. It doesn't really matter which end, but it only has to be one end on each one, because the other end will be up inside the brim. And what I do, I've tried several methods for this, and what I find is the easiest is to run a satin stitch across the end. And you don't want to run it on the very end because it won't feed right, so you need to have a little cutoff extra, and that's why I wasn't real worried about that. On those ends to be perfect anyway. But you do that, you set your machine to a satin stitch, which is basically a zigzag that's scrunched up really close together. So you reduce your stitch length down to almost 0. So cross it. Now I go to the very edge, and I also go backwards. And then I'll go across one more time. Okay. And that just makes a really nice little finished edge. I don't know if you can see. And then I cut right below that. Make sure you don't cut in your stitching line, but that will finish the edge of that material and keep that from raveling for you. Let's do the other one. Hang on, baby, just about done with this video. Okay, and there's your other one. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop this video because I don't want to breach 10 minutes.